Okay, I think that'll hold. All right, behind the scenes, folks. There we go. Let me see what it's looking like here, and make sure sound and everything is working right. Okay, y'all shot is not too bad on the BTS. All right, let me go back over here. Start my camera and my. Hey, there you are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great. Technical difficulties,
You're
but
beautiful.
I think
So
we got
we're
them
very like laid back. If you wanted to be laid back, you can be laid back.
Yeah, no problem. Move my chair over a little bit.
How have you been?
I've been good. How about yourself?
I've been good, and I've been doing since I left. So I ended up getting COVID.
Oh no.
And I was under
I'm so
for
sorry.
a little bit. And then I had to play catch up, and I was still like jumping on my podcast and
Right.
stuff.
Oh my God. You like me, just
but
don't
I
stop.
pushed it out of my system in like 4 days. 4 days.
Wow, good. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That determination, I'm telling you, will take you a long way.
Look, you make me want to go put a blazer on. That's out all days.
I can take the blazer off if we want to do, we kind of match it a little bit. It's up to you.
Look, I'm in a Star Wars shirt.
Listen, I threw it on because I'm trying to be more prepared this time. I got my book ready, got my flyer ready. I'm like,
it's good. It's however you want to look. That's fine. We're like, so the Star Wars organic.
Okay.
So we don't script anything. All the questions that we ask we're gonna vibe off of you.
Awesome.
We start from the childhood, we go into adulthood, and then into the amazing things that you're doing now. Okay. And well, you'll see your intro. I went a little extra on your intro. I added some things. I usually only do 2 slides, but I added two more slides in for you.
Okay, so, thank you. That's my middle name, Extra.
Yes, I had to do a little extra. I was like, I love that, just especially, when we go through things, people don't understand the strength of healing.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
It's a power, and to openly share your life experience is just, that's what I do. That's my adrenaline. It's like people helping other people.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. And let me get the name of your podcast correct so I can announce to my people behind the scenes. She did say it was okay to go live behind the scenes. Are we good on that? Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
so
I told her this was the first that I've ever done this.
Okay.
I called Sid. I was like, Sid, let's
make sure.
Storm. And I was like, it may, because we're up and growing, and we're getting our subscribers, and we just hit 400 on our YouTube day before y'all said 400. So I'm excited. And if you haven't subscribed, come subscribe.
Absolutely.
You have a YouTube too, so I need to subscribe.
Yes. So I have my own YouTube, which I haven't really put much time and effort into, but I do have quite a few on there. But then we actually started one for Us 3 Productions that's only got like 45 right now. So we're trying to kind of take all my fan base and put it over on the production company now, because the production company is newer. So, but yeah, I do love to cross promote, and that's why we kind of do these opportunities with anyone, no matter how big or small your audience is. We want to bring some audience to you. Y'all might have audience that we don't have. It's all about collaborating. So I want to tell the people watching behind the scenes who I'm on live with and how they can follow you and everything ahead of time, and then we can tell them again when we're done, if that's okay. Yeah,
Unfiltered, Unspoken Podcast. And I told, it's, how do you say it's Nasa?
Nisa.
Nisa. Okay, I was close. A little close.
Nobody says it right the first time.
We pre-record tonight and we air on Monday.
Okay, awesome.
So for you, I told her you can go live. I'm okay with that.
Awesome.
Excited about it. We've never done this before, so they get to see it, but we're going to run on Monday after. And we won't script this. It's going to run how it is, but I'm going to have snippets. Would you like some of the snippets?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the more the better. The more we can post, and that just drives more traffic to you guys too. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So so I'll get those to you as well. I'll download that and I'll send it to you. And that's open to all, I guess. So, but a lot of people don't ask for them, but if you want them, I stream StreamYard, part of what I pay is they snip stuff up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So just before we get started, everybody watching, tuning in behind the scenes, thank you guys for logging on. I'm actually live on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube right now. So hello, everybody. I am here. You guys are watching behind the scenes with Unfiltered and Unspoken. It's Miss Claudia, right?
Yeah, Unfiltered Unspoken Podcast, and
Unfiltered Unspoken Podcast,
YouTube and Instagram. But we're also on
go
TikTok.
right up there, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. What else?
TikTok is under The Good Fight.
The Good Fight here on TikTok for those of you tuning on
and
TikTok.
it's an E on the end of good.
The Good Fight with the E.
With the E on the end of
good with the E, GOODE, fight. Okay, got it. On TikTok. So make sure y'all go follow this podcast. So when they drop this is pre-recorded. So y'all gonna see, y'all already know, I'm not gonna be paying attention to y'all. It's gonna be whatever view y'all got. That's what you see behind the scenes. And then if you want to see the real show, which they have a lovely setup over here that y'all can't see right now, you gotta watch it when it drops on Monday, right? What time on Monday?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. on Monday, y'all. Go run them up, follow them, subscribe. Look out for this actual interview to drop with Unfiltered, Unspoken podcast. So this already sounds like, the title make it sound like it's going to get interesting. So I'm ready.
Yeah.
And I love the interview.
So really quick, if you can look at your name scrolling across the board to make sure. I tried to capture everything. I pulled your link tree.
Oh.
So I tried to get everything on there. Just if you could tell me if it's spelled correctly, if there's anything you want me to take out, or if there's anything you want me to add.
Everything's spelled correctly. I would just change the actress Vitelle. So with the interviews that we're doing right now, we're kind of focused on Us 3 Productions and the show itself. So the actress Vitelle is more like if people want to book me for their projects, but I would I would make that he is Us 3 Productions. So it's spelled
Hold on 1 second. He is 3
HEIS. He is
HEIS production.
The number 3 and then productions with the S. He is Us 3 Productions.
He is
US 3.
Oh, you.
Yeah, sorry, that's okay. I lost track of.
So said HEIS US.
Yes, and the number 3, and then productions with the S at Gmail. So that's going to be how they reach us if they want to get involved with the production company, which is what we'll talk about tonight.
All right, let's run that again.
Okay. Yep, looks good. TikTok, I don't even know my stuff on TikTok for real. YouTube, yeah, they can find me if they Google search for real. So that looks good to me. Take the web out if you don't mind. I don't ever use the last name. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Other than that, yeah, it looked good. Are they? Well, I see. Is that someone saying welcome? I don't know how that works. The please welcome Vitelle Web founder.
No, that's me.
That's you saying it. That's not gonna be. Is it? I don't know if that can be changed or not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can change that.
Awesome.
What do you want me to change it
to?
So
just take the last name out. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to leave the founder in there?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, I added that. I was like, I think she might want that because she has her production company going.
Absolutely.
So let me.
That's perfectly fine. Thank you so much.
Okay, my pleasure. Okay, so we're just waiting on Sid.
Okay.
And once Sid gets in, and I need to pull something else up really quick.
Okay. My hair back out the way. All right, you guys, don't forget, if you are tuning in behind the scenes, this is a pre-recorded interview that we're about to start with the Unfiltered Unspoken podcast. So make sure you guys find them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. On TikTok, it is The Good, GOODE, Fight, The Good Fight. Make sure y'all find them and follow them. Hey, Miss Dawn, make sure you follow and support. We are all about collaborating and supporting all the up and coming. Listen, you don't know when you're supporting the next MLK, when you're supporting the next person going down in history as the next big thing, Beyonce up here. We don't know what somebody's going to become, so we don't look at levels to this. It's just a matter of time. So we support everybody and each other. So yes. So y'all go run it up and support. I'm excited. She getting the commercial ready. So like I said, if y'all want to see the actual interview itself, you're going to look out for it on Monday to drop. And she's going to give me some snippets and stuff that I'll be posting as it gets closer to let you guys know that it's coming. you already know I'm in Nashville right now promoting the show. So it's a whole lot of videos and stuff. Sometimes we're getting backed up, but we're going to keep pushing it out there. So I told y'all at the beginning of 2025, prepare to be sick of me. Now, are y'all sick of me yet? It's okay, because we're going to keep going. Get on the bandwagon. Yeah, so we, man, trying to live online and out here in real life be so hard. Because trying to keep up with the posts and stuff all the time. Because people need to know what's going on. So I'm getting better at going live behind the scenes, though, so people can tune in and see the real life. A lot of times I go live and let them see the craziness of me trying to set up. The technical difficulties and the frustration.
Look, you have to, I'm like, when you keep it real with people and you let them see like the whole piece of it, they have a different level of respect.
Exactly.
Right?
That part. I kind of move this shot a little bit. I wish I could cut out that light switch and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I have my light on, and then once you come up and I go behind scenes, I'll end up turning my other light on once the sun goes down.
Like I done already, because I had to turn these big lights off above me because they was making a glare. So as long as your shot's good, behind the scenes get what happens. But hi. Yeah, so I always keep it real, let them know what is going on, because y'all have no idea how difficult it'd be to maintain all of this.
See, you just woke up. Did I wake you up?
I just don't feel well.
Oh no!
Okay. I'm sorry. No.
So we gonna
Are you
speak
good to
healing
go?
on your body right
Yeah, just gotta power through it.
Okay.
We get off as soon as we're done.
Look, your energy gonna change soon. As soon as we get into this interview, it's gonna just.
It
gonna
is.
be like, I wasn't feeling well. I don't even remember. Because look, we got all this good energy, good vibes going. So we're going to speak life and healing to you in the name of Jesus. We're going to.
Sid been rocking with me since October 10th, 2022.
Awesome. Yes.
I love her.
Right about
That's
A1
my
since
sister.
day one. I love it. I love it. Let me grab me some water real quick, y'all.
All right. You ready, Sid?
Hold on, I'll just grab some water. 1 second.
And right.
That's the only thing I forgot. All right, now I'm ready. I'm gonna drink while she on commercial.
Welcome back to Unfiltered Unspoken Podcast. I see the smile on your face.
Yes, I was like, oh, I'm impressed. Look at that. I love the graphics. Great job.
Thank you. It's Vitelle.
Yes.
Okay, I said it right. We want to rent them Vitelle.
Or Vitelle, or, it's really just a matter of what your accent is, okay? But
yeah, because it can go
as long as you don't say
right?
Vitelle. The E at the end is silent.
We want to welcome Vitelle to Unfiltered Unspoken Podcast. As we told you, we're going to continue to share life experiences. And we love when we have folks on the scene that is just 100% transparent about their life experience. And 99.9% of the folks that come through here because everyone is at a different level in their life. But we're super excited to have Vitelle. She's going to tell you a little bit about herself. And then we're going to have Sid kick off the first question. But on this one, before Sid kicks off the first question, I want to play a short video in the beginning. Vitelle, if you can come up, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. The graphics are on point, top tier. I love the way y'all roll. So my name is Vitelle, everybody. I am an actress, director, producer, model. I do a little bit of everything in the entertainment industry, but I am the founder and CEO of Us Three Productions. I am currently on a world tour at the moment. I'm coming to you guys live from Nashville, Tennessee, where we are currently getting ready for our next show coming up this weekend called 9 Lives World Tour. It is a one-woman show about healing from trauma. That's what I do. I tell my own testimony in order to help people to heal, and I do that through the arts and entertainment. So that's just a little bit about me, but we'll get into more in this interview. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely, thank you. Let me run this clip real quick, and then we're gonna run one more at the end because you're doing something amazing. So give me 1 second.
Awesome.
Oops. Oops, hold on 1 second, y'all.
No worries.
Back and better than never, Us Three Productions proudly presents the highly anticipated 2025 World Tour of 9 Lives, the one-woman show starring award-winning actress, author, and humanitarian Vitelle. This is more than just a performance. 9 Lives have become a platform for change, helping communities confront difficult conversations around issues such as depression, suicide, divorce, homelessness, and human trafficking. With each stop on the tour, Us Three Productions will partner with local organizations and support networks to offer resources for individuals seeking healing and recovery. With special guest performances by Atlanta's Garrett Patterson and Carolyn Jones. It all kicks off January the 11th in Orlando. Then it's off to Birmingham, Raleigh, Atlanta, DC, Houston, Nashville, Boston, Bowling Green, Kentucky, and coming soon to a city near you. You do not want to miss it. Text 770-626-5075 for updates, casting calls, discounts, and more. 770-626-5075 or email heresus3productions@gmail.com for sponsor and vendor opportunities. The 9 Lives World Tour. Be there.
Yes. Every time I see it, I get excited again. It's really happening.
Well, thank you again for being here with us. As we like to do with everyone, we kind of like to start at the beginning of your journey. Tell us a little bit about, your time growing up, your home structure. What was your family like, the relationships within your family, and if you experienced any trauma in your adolescent years?
Absolutely. I will try to sum it up and be as brief as possible. We start from the beginning. So I came out the womb with talent. No, I'm just like, let me see. So I grew up with my 2 sisters, hence why my production company is called Us Three Productions. That is one of the reasons there. So my 2 sisters and my mother raised us. I was raised in a very militant household. My mother is Black. My father, I didn't realize at first, I don't think, is white. And so I actually, at one point in my life as a child, really was convinced that Michael Jackson was my dad. So don't judge me, okay? This is raw and unfiltered. We're gonna keep it real. But I was not surprised because the curly hair and the light skin, and it explained a lot to me at the time because, as a child, I couldn't really understand why am I so much different looking than everybody else who was all caramel complected or dark skinned in my family. So that just made perfect sense to me. And the reason I didn't see him all the time is because he's always on tour doing his music. So that's what I thought at first. But then lo and behold, I later found out that I was part Caucasian biologically. Now, it doesn't say that on my birth certificate, and I still don't really claim that, but it is what it is. Genetics is genetics, okay? But now I look at it like a blessing because the way that I am now, the way that I look, I would say, I guess the genetics, the genes that I got from both sides, like it's just so necessary. And the fact that God really understood and created us with exactly whose DNA we're supposed to have for us to be who we're supposed to be. I get that now, and I'm so excited to be who I am now. But at the time as a child, I did not accept that. I did not receive it. I have a poem that I perform that is very well known called The Skin I'm In. It's been performed throughout the world for a very long time. And I wrote that when I was younger, when I literally said in the poem, I just can't accept the skin that I'm in. So that was one of the, I guess, original traumas, you could say. One of the things that I remember going through the most as a child was just not being able to accept my own self, just having that lack of confidence, experiencing a lot of bullying because of how I looked, and being treated like, oh, you think you're better than everybody else because you're light skinned, you have curly hair and all this different stuff, or long hair or whatever. So I experienced a lot of that growing up, and not only from school and from outside the household, but even within my household, unknowingly to them, I was taking every little thing personally. Any comment about, that must be the white side or anything, like it built up over time. So that was like my first, I guess, original traumas. I went through a lot more growing up on top of that, but that's like, they say that mental abuse is worse than physical abuse. And I can attest to that because I have experienced both. And it's the mental part that stuck with me the longest. And so that is the hardest thing to heal from, I would say. So that's just a little bit of background about my childhood, my upbringing. I have come a long way. Here I am now, but that's just a little summary for you guys.
I'm sorry, it's my go.
No, you're fine.
I apologize. So I wanted to jump right into it because we have a lot of kids, biracial, that are bullied. All kids get bullied, but I hear commonly a lot of biracial kids are bullied. So can you talk a little bit more about the bullying at a young age, from being bullied in school and at home?
Okay, so you want me to elaborate a little bit on that? Yeah, to hear you say that it's common now it's unusual to me, because you would think we've come a long way now. There's a whole lot more mixed kids than there ever was. There's really a whole lot more biracial families altogether, and I think that it's not as much of a problem when the parents stay together and they're just a happy family unit. Then it doesn't seem as unusual. The child isn't forced to hate one side or the other, or love one side most, or pick a side or claim a side. Those kind of things you don't see as often anymore, but they definitely still happen, especially when the parents separate. So, or not getting along, or put the kids in a position to have to pick a side. So that is definitely something that you see, and something that causes just more damage than because it's hard to develop a sense of self and self-love, and just the confidence that you need to accomplish anything in life if you're constantly made to feel bad for who you are and what you look like. And I think a lot of us can say that, mixed or not. I hear all the time people getting bullied for being dark skinned, for being light skinned. And it's amazing to me when I do this performance of The Skin I'm In. I'm thinking, if there's no mixed or light-skinned people in the room, nobody's going to understand. But it's crazy how many people come up after and can relate to it, whether they're mixed or not. I get Indian, Spanish, everybody's relating to it, because so many people are uncomfortable in their skin and don't grow up in home environments that just encourage loving who you are and the way God created you. That is so important. And so that's why I say, not just for mixed children, or not just even for, the complexion of your skin, but just raising your kids to understand that everything about how they were designed is so important. And so it's such an intricate detail that God thought about before they were even created. So to get them to understand that concept and just love themselves from the very beginning, you're creating a whole different human being for the future. But, I didn't experience that. So, I had to learn that as an adult. I had to work through those things and learning to accept, and not only accept and love myself, but to get excited about the fact that I am who I am. You know how many roles I can play, girl? Like, this is good. Like, you know, just to look at the bright side of it. And so, you know, it just took me a long time to get there because I had to get there on my own and through, you know, professional services and therapy, and not with the upbringing that I try my best to encourage now for other people, for my own next generation, my own children, you know, just the importance of that. So yeah, it's just so important that we think about these things as parents to try to prevent these types of things from happening. So
what were the circumstances surrounding your parents' relationship? You know, was it kind of like true love, whirlwind love?
I
didn't. You know,
right. So I didn't know my dad at first, and or my bio. I didn't know him at first, but I guess later on in life, as I was processing the healing, and I started asking questions and trying to get to know and hear everybody's points of view and sides of the story, and it's just very interesting how so many different sides of the story are so different. I think when I was growing up, I thought that this was just like a revenge pregnancy, like because my grandfather was a Black Panther, and he did not like white people. So this unfiltered, unspoken, right? Okay, so I'm just checking in.
You can say whatever you want.
Okay, I'm trying to be politically correct and stuff, but yeah, he was a Black Panther, and so he, you know, so I was under the impression for a while that, you know, my mom just created me to spite my grandfather because he was mad. And then, like I said, at one point I thought Michael Jackson was my dad. So like there was so many mixed stories growing up that I believed every one of them at the time that I believed them. Until, you know, I found out the truth later. So again, just asking questions from my grandparents and people that were there, you know, because I don't know besides the people that were there. So it seems as though it was a whirlwind romance for a moment there in college. But, you know, and so even speaking to my dad's side of the family, I do have communication with them now. And so just learning more about them helped me heal as well. And, you know, seeing that, you know what, I think he's still in love with her, you know, like seeing that for myself and being like, okay, so it wasn't all like completely unplanned or whatever. So, you know, I may never know the full details of the entire story, but that's just from my perspective, the things that I learned over time and just trying to dig and dive into it and find out myself. Cause I mean, I wanted to know that question too, what you just asked me. So yeah.
I want to ask real quick, can you explain some of the verbal abuse from being bullied as a child, and how did you cope with it? Because we do want to help folks that are going through bullying and still a child. Some people haven't even reached the point to even try to navigate through it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I still remember all the names. You know, it was very triggering. You know, I was called Casper anytime, you know, I was called Casper. I was called Rudolph anytime it was cold outside and my nose turned red. And, you know, so those kinds of different name calling, you know, kids are going to be kids. And at the time, I didn't really know how to handle it. So you asked, how did I cope with it? I think I just internalized a lot, and I just started hating people. And I specifically hated white people, not necessarily for the reasons that those before me hated them, but because they hate me. And so like I experienced it from both sides. I experienced a culture shock at one point because I went from like an all Black school where there's like one white person in the whole school, and I wasn't white and nobody saw me as that, but they did see me as somebody who had I had a benefit over them because I was lighter than them or something. So there was the ones who just fully accepted me, and they'll argue for me and speak for me to say, no, she's Black, just get it right, you know, and they'll correct other people before I say something to get mad because they knew that was going to be a trigger for me if someone was confused about that. So more than the name calling and things like that, I probably got more often like, what are you? Like just the confusion. And I didn't, you know, now I understand like, oh, that's just ignorance. I'm going to ignore that. But, you know, then it pissed me off. So I was like, you know, I would react to that and not in a great way, you know, between fighting and, you know, physically fighting and, you know, threatening people and just being violent and things like that. I was not reacting very well to it. And so when I went from that school, which was actually more comfortable for me, besides the few people that were still ignorant, I went to a majority white school where there was 4 people that graduated in my class with me that were Black, not including me. So 4 additional people. So, wait, actually, I think it might have been 4 total, 3 other people, but either way, that's a small amount if you can count them on one hand. Okay. So that's what it was like going to that school. And at that school, I experienced straight up racism. I was called the N-word. I was like, these white people don't care how much Black you got in you, you are Black. So it was a completely different environment and set up there. So that's what made me hate them even more. And I became very violent and, dare I say, homicidal and all of those things, and ended up having to go into a facility to help me with that. And I chose to stay in that facility to stay the hell away from all the people that I did not like. So yeah, it was rough. I didn't figure out as a child or even as a teenager how to cope with it, aside from writing The Skin I'm In, which I mentioned in The Skin I'm In, that I don't hate them because they're white. They just keep reminding me, because it was mostly the white people that I experienced the racism with, and they were constantly reminding me that I looked more like them and they don't like me, you know. So before that, I didn't experience it as much, I would say. So I learned how to cope through the poetry and writing and things like that, because I went to a facility that taught me how to do those things and to control my temper and stuff like that. So yeah.
What exactly, if any, were you taught by the family that raised you? I know it was your family, but about, just being proud of who you are, or, getting it off your shoulders, or disregarding what they're saying. Was there any kind of guidance in that, in that way, knowing with your mom, knowing that clearly are a mixed race child, like, did she instill any kind of like safety measures in you, or confidence, or anything to help you disregard what the chatter?
Not at all. Yeah, I don't remember experiencing any of that would help me deal with that. I think the one thing that comes to mind with me, if anything, it might have made it a little worse with the violent side of me. But I remember her telling people, like when I was getting picked on too bad, like she would come to the school, Black mamas. So she would come to the school and she would be like, "Now look, I'm trying to warn y'all don't let the light skin fool you. She gonna back her into a corner and she gonna snap on y'all." Because I would let it build up so long. Like I wouldn't say anything. I let people poke until bam, I'm snapping. I'm taking everybody out. So, she knew that about me, that rage that run through that bloodline. And so she would tell people that. And so for me at that time, it was almost like my mom standing up for me. Like it felt like, oh, this feels good. Like she's standing up for me. She's letting these people know. Like I love when my mama came up to the school, unlike most of us, so that's the main thing I remember. Like, and that probably like the reason it felt so good to me looking back on it and knowing the things that I know now, mental health wise, like I understand that the reason that did feel so good to me is because that was one of the few times that I do remember her standing up for me and taking my side, and that gave me confidence, that gave me that confidence feeling that you're describing, because I didn't get that any other way. So yeah.
And I want to ask, because you also mentioned that you had issues at school and issues at home. So as a child that's frustrated in school and wants to blow up, why were you frustrated at home, and did that add to the build-up?
Like I said, I think at home it wasn't so much intentional as it was just the realization for me that clearly I don't fit in. Like I went through trying to figure out, am I adopted? Like trying to, all these different things, and just the feeling of nobody really understands what I'm going through and what I'm feeling right now, and why I feel so rejected and unloved and all of these things that I experienced feeling. So in hindsight, I know it wasn't because my family did not love me. It was just what I was perceiving because of who I am and how I'm treated at school. And then I come home and it's like, I see what I see. I am different. So if comments came up, it could be like a simple comment that you just don't even think, like, you know, she must get that from the white side or something like that, then it's like triggering, like, oh gosh, they just reminded me I'm half white. Now I'm, you know, now I'm going through this whole spiral out of emotions going on in my head, like they don't love me, which is the conclusion that I would come to, you know. So yeah, so that's kind of what it was like at home, I would say. And so I coped there by hiding in the closet. I actually, I had a lot of coping mechanisms at home, but one of them, I literally made my bedroom in a closet. I would stay inside the closet, shared a room with my sisters at one point, and my room was in the closet. So I had my own space and could just lock everyone out and not have to exist with everyone else. That was the one time. I think that's probably what made me an introvert. I don't know if it's natural or not, but just to be in existence in my own space and not have anyone else intruding in it or have to be competing with anyone else or lowering my self-worth for anybody else or any of those things. It just was about me in that moment. It didn't matter what color I was. So I spent a lot of time in the closet. And trying to think of what else some of the things that I did. So when I remember when I was in the closet at one point, I cut myself. At one point as a teenager, I started cutting. So that is something that that I did to cope, and I highly do not recommend that. Don't do that, people, because you could cut too deep and you don't want that to happen. So, but that is unfortunately something that I did experience and can relate to, just that feeling of, and I don't think I necessarily wanted to off myself at that time. I just wanted to feel something different than the pain that I was feeling. So that was something that I resorted to for a period of time in my life as well.
Tell us a little bit about your time at the facility. Was it an issue of where you know, you feel whatever you did to get you there was actually, you know, that was the warranted punishment, or was it, you know, the quintessential case of, you know, kind of over exaggerating, you know, Black women's rage or Black girls' rage? You know, it was kind of the situation that put you there.
Well, I chuckled when you said that because, y'all, your girl is crazy for real. Like, listen, looking back on it, I know this is so wrong. I should not have done this. So it was warranted for me to be there. But, you know, it's just kind of funny now in hindsight because, like, that's a shame, girl. Why'd you do that? So basically, gosh, this is unfiltered. I feel like behind the scenes TikTok gonna cut me off because I'm gonna say too much, but it's okay. We go as long as y'all are okay with unfiltered. I don't want y'all YouTube video to get banned. But no,
we are unfiltered, unspoken. We want you to tell us how you want to tell us.
So I got arrested because I actually made this whole plan. Now, y'all know I've been an actor since birth. I came out right in movies and stuff, right? So one of the ways that I coped with the unacceptance of everyone else is I was always creating these characters and writing these movies. So I enjoyed being a vampire and things like that because it scared people away from me. I'm okay with them thinking I'm crazy as long as they don't think I'm white. Like, to me, that was less of a punishment than the latter. So I would play these roles and make up these extravagant movies and things, and it literally would have some, like, I was a good actress, so I would have some people in the neighborhoods and things convinced that I was actually a vampire, and they were scared at night, and they would tell their parents, and their parents come back complaining to my mom and stuff, and you know, and so it just made me seem more crazy. But I didn't care at that time because I was honing my gifts, and I knew from at that time what I was going to be when I grow up. So you know, whatever. But one of the things that I did that eventually got me arrested and taken to that place was that I made this whole extravagant plan of how I was going to lock everyone into the cafeteria and catch them all on fire and just watch them burn and all this, you know, really kind of demented stuff, honestly. I'm being honest with myself. I can kind of chuckle at it now, but at that time it was not good. And so, yeah, it was very much warranted that they arrested me and took me to this place. And I was just relieved to be up out of there, which at the end of the day, would I've actually done that? Probably not. But had I kept suppressing for so long and just let this go on and nobody ever sent me to a place where I could get help, who knows what I would have been capable of. But I enjoyed the process at that time of making this, you know, just letting my intrusive thoughts out on paper and getting it to the point where I scared enough of those white folks that they was like, we're going to tell somebody because she's probably going to do this for real. So that's what got me sent there. And nobody's ever asked that question in an interview before, so it's kind of interesting to reflect back on that.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask, because I'm going to piggyback off Sid, now that you got there and they took you there, how did they help you figure out some of the things that you were going through? And I know you said writing was a piece of it, helping you with poetry, but what were the other things that they brought to surface that this teenage child is going through, and you have to kind of, if you felt like telling them, like, what were some of the things?
That is a really good question. And I'm always answering very honestly, but I have to dig deep to really understand, process, and be able to turn these answers into words sometimes. Because I feel like a lot of the things that they taught me there were not necessarily what they were trying to teach me. And I'll explain what I mean in that. It's because, you know, I did get a lot out of the therapy, and, you know, I took the things that I knew would work for me out of everything they're giving me. Like, okay, well, writing's going to work, journaling, because that's what I already do. You know, certain things. And then even just making friends in there that had, you know, at the time seemed like bigger problems than mine, you know, kind of put things into perspective. And then I think more than anything, going to a place like that taught me who I really was. Not that that's what they were trying to do, because honestly, I learned how to tell people what they needed to hear. I learned how to know who not to trust. Because first of all, I didn't trust none of them white people when I came in there in the first place. So whatever they want me to tell them, or however they want me to open up to them and trust them, it's not going to happen anyway. So in my head, I'm just playing another role by being here in the first place. But then I realized while I was there how much just getting away from everybody that I didn't like helped me, like just being there in general. And so I purposely, like, there was times when I was going to get released on good behavior. Like, that place helped me realize that there was nothing actually wrong with me, like, as far as, you know, severe brain damage or something, you know, the things that you would think, like, you know, she's got bipolar disorder, she's got all these different things. That place made me feel so normal, because I was able to just be myself and then keep getting to the point where it was like, oh, well, you're fine. The emotions that you're experiencing are perfectly normal given your situation. And, you know, because prior to that, it was like I wasn't allowed to feel anything. If I was sad, if I was emotional or angry at a situation, I was made to feel worse because I'm feeling that emotion. So not only was the skin issue a problem, but then the fact that I had emotions and I didn't know what to do with them, I just was told those were bad. That caused a whole nother insecurity and a whole nother issue within me. So, you know, just being there helped me understand my emotions and be okay with being a human being and understand that, oh, other people have these emotions too. Okay, so this is normal, you know, so that kind of thing, it just gave me more confidence being there. And then it also unintentionally, like I said, they didn't mean to do this, but they actually increased my acting ability and my confidence in my gift and talent in that area too, because it's just in me to do this. As soon as I got to the place, it's like instinctively all these people that I'm meeting are characters in a show for me. And so of course I'm going to put on a play, you know, of course I'm going to write a script and have all these people in this facility acting in my show. Like, I literally came into the place, took over, and made it what I wanted it to be. Like, and that's when I realized, like, I'm capable of doing this. Like, this is a gift. This is what I do. And so I think that was one of the first times that I realized that gift in me. And so, and just the fact that I was inspiring other people who were hurting and ill and whatever they had going on, eating disorders, all kind of stuff going on in there. Like, I was able to give them something to hope for and to dream in and to bigger than themselves, kind of like everything that I'm doing right now is so crazy just reflecting back on that, because I'm like, dang, like every experience that we go through really creates who we are. And so that just helps to mold that. And so it made me a director, and I was literally directing people and inspiring people, and about didn't want to leave. So like every time I got to the point where they're about to release me for good behavior, like, this girl is awesome, we just gonna let her go, I would act out, y'all. I would really flip out to where they had to put me in a straitjacket and lock me in a padded room. And I was purposely turning into that character that I needed to be at that time. So they would keep me longer because I don't want to go home. I like it here. I got my own room. I got, you know, friends. I'm directing. I'm walking in my purpose. I'm doing what is already embedded in me to do because I'm passionate about that. So
you think it was a manipulation though?
Yeah, and it was, and it's bad because, like, you know, I don't advise manipulation, but I was good at it. You know, I realized I'm so good at this, like, and so I acted. I was in there. I beat my head against the padded wall, and I was really entertaining myself though, like for real. And I knew it was cameras in the room, so I'm like, I'm putting on a whole show, and they just feel like, yeah, this girl, she losing it. Let's go ahead and keep her longer, you know. But I'm like, I would run up against the wall. I figured out how to get out of straitjackets. I figured out how to get out of handcuffs, like all these things. I just kind of taught myself as I went, you know, like it was stuff like that that I kind of picked up in that place that, you know, come in handy these days, but you know, not probably the best way to accumulate these gifts, but it definitely it taught me a lot about myself is what it did. Yeah.
I was only so after, when were you or when did you actually accept the fact that you were actually ready to go, or allow them to let you leave the facility, and after that, you know, what kind of was the next step? How were you able to I guess navigate the world, or, you know, your household or your community or whatever you were struggling with? You know, were you able to better kind of experience that after your time at the facility?
I don't really remember, as far as the first part of the question, my acceptance of, you know, being ready to go. I don't know that I ever was really ready to go. I think it could be possible that somebody just caught on to the fact that I'm going to keep doing this every time they're about to let me go. So just let it go because she played too much, you know. So, you know, I don't really remember how that happens because a lot of my memories are bits and pieces because that's how trauma works. Your brain protects itself sometimes. And so I blacked out a lot of things. So I'm trying to think of the answer to that, but I really don't remember that part. And then as far as coping in the world after that, like I said, that place gave me so much confidence in that I felt like I am in control of my life and those around me. Like I determine how I allow people to treat me and how things go. Like I just felt so much more confident in that. And I felt more confident in where I knew I was going, and that this childhood situation, no matter what was going on at the time, is temporary. Like at some point I'm going to be grown and I'm going to be this big time movie producer. I'm going to be this big time actor, like all these things that I'm going to do because this is what I do naturally. And this is what I'm passionate about. And it's just built into me. So I just started focusing on that from that point on. And I think that's another reason why there's a lot of bits and pieces missing for me, because I spent so much time in my adolescence thinking about the future and living in the future. Like I always was meditating to that point in time on my timeline, and I wasn't living in the now to even take it all in. So that's another reason for that too.
I want to ask, because reading a little bit about you, and I actually got to see your play production. It's a mixture of everything: play, production. You get just a bit of everything. You mentioned as a child that you went through human trafficking. Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Because did that play a part of before going into an institute or after?
That was after. Yeah, that was after. That was going into adulthood, actually. So it was a very short period of my life. So there's not too much to elaborate on. And a lot of times you'll have to be real specific with the questions. But I know if I give you guys a summary, so far, this is how it's worked, is you guys will elaborate a little bit on certain parts. But again, I try to piece it together as best I can, the pieces that I do remember. But in my situation, it was one of those where I was almost an adult. And there was someone who happened to be a neighbor who decided to target me. So I'll just call him a predator for the sake of summing this up. And I became a target, and I did not know or understand at that time, because I was very naive for a 17-year-old. I lived in my own fantasy world. I played with Barbies. I made movies with my Barbies. All I did was make movies all the time. So I was a virgin. I did not, you know, like most teenagers these days, I did not think about sex. I did not want to do that. Why would I ever do that? You know, like all of those things. And so when this predator started doing what he was doing, which was basically the manipulation, the grooming, and things like that, I didn't understand what was happening at first. I was like, I just know I don't like this guy. He's making me uncomfortable. I want him gone. So that was the extent of our relationship. And so unfortunately he was able to get away with a lot because he was a master manipulator. Just like being in that facility, I can relate it back to that, because he unintentionally taught me some things that I was able to use for my future self that benefited me, because again, it was the manipulation, the seeing an expert at work. This guy was such a smooth criminal that he had literally no online presence. Who has that in the first place? You know, everybody can be found online, not this guy. It's like he had, you know, no criminal background. He got people to do things for him. And he was smart enough to know that I cannot rape this girl until she's 18, because if she goes and tells the police when she's 17, they're just going to take her word for it. It's going to be statutory rape, regardless of if she can prove it or not. And, you know, so he was very detailed with waiting until I turned 18. So at that time, I was taken from my home and had to stay with him, and had to do things like commit crimes and things like that for him. And then I was trafficked out to his entourage, for lack of a better word right now. And so, yeah, so it was a short time in my life. I want to say, like, I really can't pinpoint the timeline exactly, but I want to say maybe a year. But it felt like a long time as I was going through it. Obviously, anytime you're going through a trauma, especially something like that, it just felt like a long time. So, but yeah, that pretty much sums up that portion of my life. But y'all feel free to elaborate. If there's something else that I can answer, I'd be happy to.
You know, normally with those situations, it may be a little bit more difficult than others to, you know, make it out, or, you know, it just kind of gets out of control. Some people sold overseas,
yeah.
You know, whatever the case may be. But how were you able, you know, to actually walk away from that or get away from that scenario for yourself?
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because that's one of the reasons it took me so long to accept that as what it is and actually call it human trafficking. Like, that's what it is, only because we have this visual that we think of when we think of human trafficking. We automatically go to people who are sold overseas, people who are kidnapped, they're knocked out, they're drugged, whatever. We go to that severe of a case. We don't realize that it's literally happening in our own neighborhoods, with our kids being groomed, people at, you know, community centers and churches and boys and girls clubs and all of these things. Like, it's happening right up under our noses. And so, you know, you have to really learn how to define human trafficking. And when I kind of did my research and went through therapy for this part of my life as well, they helped me to just go ahead and call it what it is, because it's you know, there's it seems like there's levels to trauma, but there's really not, because when you're in it and experiencing it, it's the worst thing that could ever happen because you're experiencing it. But you can easily look at someone else's situation and say, oh, well, they had it worse than me, or theirs was longer than mine, so theirs was, you know. So I try not to do that when it comes to trauma healing. Like, however long yours lasted, to whatever extent it was, whether we're talking about homelessness, human trafficking, or any of the things, it was traumatic, and trauma really has no levels. It is just, it's debilitating, and it needs to be healed from at the end of the day. So, you know, I had to really learn how to accept what that part of my life was for me and be able to talk about it for what it is in order for me to start healing from it, because otherwise I kept downplaying how serious it was. And so, you know, and I say it in my show, you saw that, you know, I felt like in telling that part of my testimony that people would judge me because I was not physically tied up. People that don't understand how mental chains work and how manipulation and grooming works, especially for a young mind that hasn't experienced the world yet. So, you know, so I had to really come to grips with what that was in order to understand and explain it. And so for me to get out, leading to the second part of your question, it was just a matter of developing my own strength and determination, and it took time. So it happened over time. It did not happen overnight. And also it happened with, again, me knowing how to manipulate people, and now me knowing even better because I'm watching a master at work and thinking, wow, he's using the superpower that he has for so much bad. Like, but I have that superpower in me too. So I should be able to hone into this and build it and grow it and be able to use it for good, right? So understanding that and then moving into acting in that, that's how I started to get out. Like I literally went to a whole college to get, I went and filled out an application. I talked to teachers on the campus. Like, it's not like I wasn't allowed to leave. I just knew when to leave. So this man was married, and I knew that there was times when he wasn't going to be his real self when someone else was watching. So I knew I got this much time. When she's there, he's not going to say nothing. I can go, I can do this, I can do that. And so I was able to move when I could move. Although a lot of times I had to pay for it when it was just him and there was no one around to control that. But I just figured out how to move around this chessboard that was my life, and how to use other people in that situation to help me get me out of it, which was so much harder because at that time I didn't have, we didn't have the cell phones and the I had to get a cell phone. I didn't have social media and ways to really connect with the world and friends or anything like that. So I just had to build to that point of, now I have these teachers, and now I have these students at the school, and now I have a reason to have to leave the house, because how is he going to explain to his wife that I got accepted into this college, but I can't go to it? For what reason? It was like me understanding how to navigate that. And then once I was at the college on the campus, then it was a whole nother story. Like, I'm in this world now, but it still was a process because I still had to deal with the threats and I had to deal with the following me to class. Like, I ended up getting kicked out of the college because I started to fear going to class. I just didn't know who to trust, who worked for him, who was like, I couldn't make a friend because I couldn't trust anybody because he's got people following me and all of these different things. And so having a cell phone at that time, I was getting messages that would say exactly where I was and what I was doing, and all that. Just the intimidation tactics continued to go long into my escape through college, I'll call it. And so, so it took a long time, but again, just building that confidence in myself. I eventually moved to a whole nother state. Once I got kicked out of college, nothing was keeping me there. I moved to a whole nother state where thinking, maybe you can't find me here because this world is so big. And so I just had to continue moving and block every number that came through, continue blocking numbers. And it was just a whole process. But eventually I didn't hear from him anymore. And that took a long time.
Wow. I know we're gonna. Would you come back for part 2? Because I know we're not gonna get through this whole.
I was just thinking, I was like, how much time do we really got? But yeah, I may have to do a part 2.
We'll finish that once we get off. We'll schedule another one because you have a lot to share. I want to ask, going back. You mentioned he had a wife. Mm-hmm. You don't suspect that the wife knew anything, that these were his behaviors? Was she condoning to this? Like, how did it get past that she allowed him to move another woman into the house?
Right. That is a great question. And I will say this. I think now that I have been a wife, I think that we all have this instinct in us that we know something ain't right, but we choose to hope and love and wish the best and all of these good things when we have this person that we just are obsessed with. And so I think she was in the same position that a lot of us wives end up in, which is that position. So there was actually a time when I attempted to communicate with her a couple of times in a way that wasn't like I just came and straight up told her, because I knew that was going to cause a whole lot of trouble, more than I wanted to deal with. So what I did was I kept a journal, and I kept account of everything that was happening, everything that he did. I kept a daily transcription so that I could hide it in the house, because even then I knew a woman's going to find certain things in her house because she cleans her house that a man won't come across. So I knew exactly where to hide it, that she would find it and he wouldn't. And so I thought that that would work. I thought that if she reads this, then she'll understand, because why? Because I didn't really tell her, I hid it. So it's like she found it on her own, even though it was my intention for her to find it. And so again, the chess pieces there were all happening. And so she found it, and I'm hearing them in the room arguing, and I'm thinking, okay, this is it. She gonna get me out of this. She gonna be like, yeah, no, you can't, you know, they're arguing. So this is it. And then somehow, some way, this man just managed to convince her that I don't even remember what the story was that he gave her. I don't know, but he convinced her that I was the liar, that I was just making stuff up, that all of these things, because I'm a writer, I'm a director, and you know, so that was his excuse and reason that I was writing those things, and that I had some sick fantasy about him, that, you know, just whatever he told her, it worked, and she remained ignorant. And it just went on after that for a while, because, you know, and when I say went on like that for a while, I mean like stayed married, had multiple more kids. And then it wasn't until years later, like honestly, almost recently, like I would say within the last 5-6 years, I don't know, all my years run together, but not that long ago, that I received a Facebook message, and it was her saying that she realizes all those years ago that I was right, you know, and it was one of those things like, you know what, I don't want to hear from you now, because what, like, you know, but, you know, trying not to let that be a trigger at the time that I got the message, but just looking at her as just another victim in that situation. So that's the way I saw it, and just left it at that and just let it be. So, yeah.
Now, at what point, you know, did you get the big break that you needed, or what was your end, you know, into the career that you have been dreaming your whole life? Like, how did you get into where you wanted to be?
Well, I mean, it ain't over yet, so I haven't got to the end yet. But I'll tell you this, I don't. That is a pretty common question, but I don't think it's answerable. I heard one actor describe it as, you know, when someone asks what's her favorite project, is the one I'm on now. Like, it's always about the right now. Like, I've learned how to live in the present. So I'm not where I'm gonna be, but I'm not where I used to be. But, you know, there was never a moment of I've arrived. Like, I've just always been doing this. Even before I did it in front of a camera, I've always been doing this. So I can't really pinpoint a moment that was like, oh, this has happened, you know. It just keeps happening and keeps getting better all the time.
Okay. And I want to ask one question. So when we close this out and you come back, we have it. Did anything ever happen to this guy? Did he ever get incarcerated? Did anything ever happen to him?
Not that I know of. I know for a while, especially when I first got on social media and things like that, I did keep an eye on things just to make sure, but it was hard to do with someone who has no online presence because he's criminal. But there is always, you know, mug shots that can be found and things like that. And then as well as the fact that he was still married. So that was how I was able to know that he was still married, to know that he had all these kids and all these different things, because I kept tabs on his wife. And then also eventually one of his children reached out to me, who apparently remembered me. So yeah, so that's how I was able to kind of at least pinpoint what state they were in to steer clear of that area. But other than that, like, I never pursued, because I wasn't able to speak on it at that time. I wasn't able to even explain it really. Like, I'm learning how to do that now still through my writings and movies and everything else. But how do I even explain this enough to a police officer to make them do something about it? And plus, I had multiple experiences where I did try to tell a police officer thinking that they could help, and they did not, and they actually made it worse for me. So I learned the hard way not to trust them or depend on them for anything, and if there's a problem, I'm going to handle it myself, or just to walk away and let God handle it. And so that's kind of what I did with this. So there was so many times that I checked to see, maybe they're going to post his funeral pictures and I'll know that he's gone from this earth and I don't have to worry about anything anymore. But I never got that moment. So I have no idea what's happening to him now, but I do have this faith walk that I'm on. So I can say that I am so sure that God's got my back and he be looking out for me, and I am his child, one of his golden children, okay, on this planet. And so I kind of got an idea that whatever he's going through in life, he's not comfortable. I'm gonna say that because I have sat back and watched God take people through some things who have done me wrong. So I just rest in that peace and knowing, and that's about all I got right there is that reassurance, knowing who my daddy is, and and that's it. So yeah, no full closure, like proof of closure in that aspect, but definitely I know in my heart that he ain't happy.
Now, what I know, you said, you're not nowhere near where, the heights. You haven't reached the heights that you plan to reach. Everything's still in motion. But I guess up until now, what would be some of your favorite accolades or favorite things that you worked on, or most significant things that you worked on?
I don't know. It goes back to that same answer. The first thing that comes to my mind is like the one that I'm working on now, and that is the 9 Lives World Tour. This right here, this is a one-woman show where I play 9 different characters. This is the most amazing thing I've ever done. This was definitely a God thing because I was like, I do not want to do this. When he put it on my heart to do it in the first place, I did not want to do it because it just felt too big for me. It definitely felt like this is way bigger than me. Like I could see the future of where this thing is going, and it's not even where it's going to be. But as y'all know, we're on a 9-city tour. We're on stop 7 right now of 9 cities, and so it's going very well, and it's impacting so many people. It's all about the impact for me. Like when you ask questions like that, I'm not thinking about the project that I got paid the most in, or the project that I worked with the biggest celebrities or the most household names. Or my mind never goes to that. It goes to which project had the most impact and left the most lasting impression. And this show right here is helping people to heal from trauma, overcome depression, prevent suicide, domestic violence, like all of the things that are happening right now, to put an end to that as best we can for at least however many people we can touch. That is the biggest project you could ever have asked me to do, and I'm so grateful to be doing it. God is doing it because I don't even feel capable of doing it, honestly. Like I just keep showing up, and it keeps happening the way it's supposed to happen. So that would be the answer to that, is 9 Lives, the 9 Lives World Tour.
Okay, and I want to play a little testimony snippet of that from a video you shared, and then we're going to kick into closing it out because we're almost at time. I see her perform and do a lot of great performances. She's a phenomenal actress, but this was just next level.
Now, the movie is pretty intense. It affects you in a deeper emotional level than most other movies do because each character tells their story.
You've got to go see 9 Lives, baby.
Whoa, 9 Lives? Off the chain. So next level, so next level.
All the characters were amazing.
My favorite part of it, though, was when she did the poetry. How she did a poetry, how she puts her heart out there, man, and how you can tell that she really loves people.
Please support this movement. Oh, you're gonna touch so many lives. You touched me, girl. Oh, I don't have any words to say. All I need y'all to do is check out 9 Lives by Vitelle, girl. It is amazing. She is phenomenal. She's very talented. You want to get in on her next show?
It's totally worth your while. It's on Zoom, and it's definitely worth the price of admission.
The word has to go forth. This production has to get out to encourage others and to help them get their deliverance from what they've gone through. Somebody needs to award this girl with an Oscar.
I love that. I haven't seen that in a while. It's still always fresh to me. It encouraged me so much. And that was actually testimonials from when I was doing it virtually. So, if they was impacted with it being virtual at that time, the testimonials from the people who've seen it in person is even beyond that. It's amazing.
Yeah, and we wanted to share the testimonies.
Thank you.
Because you're doing amazing. You're doing an amazing job. So we are almost at time, and when we close it out, we just like to ask from the 2 things that we talked about today, because we didn't even get half.
That was 2 of the 9 lives.
Right? if you can tell the audience, especially biracial female girls that are going through bullying and females that may be going through human trafficking that may see this, or to prevent another young lady from going through human trafficking, what advice would you give them?
Man, that was a whole lot of question and would be a whole lot of answer, but I'm gonna figure out how to sum this up to something that I would say to every single one of those people, because at the end of the day, it's all traumatic experiences. It's all something that you are experiencing, because life be lifing. You're experiencing this moment. Just keep in mind that it is only a moment. Whatever it is that you're going through, you are not alone. There are 8 billion people on this planet right now, 8.2, I think, right now. And that's only the people in existence at this moment in time. Think about how many people are born all the time and how many people leave this earth all the time. There have been countless number of people in existence that have experienced the feelings that you're feeling, the things that you're going through. It may not be exactly the same situation, but you'd be surprised how many people can relate so closely to your situation. So just knowing that you're not alone, and even that, if nobody else on the planet out of the billions of people who have existed can relate, God is there with you. He understands what you're going through. He has experienced himself in the flesh as Jesus Christ. So many of these emotions that we experience now. So just allow yourself to be human. Allow yourself to express the emotions in the healthiest way that you can, and be okay. Like, let yourself be okay. Have grace on yourself that you're feeling these things right now because of what you're going through. And that is okay. You have the right to feel this. If you need to cry, if you want to write, if you want to go to the gym and work it out, whatever you can find a healthy outlet for the emotions that you're experiencing because of your situation, whatever that is. And then also understand that at the end of the day, it is not going to last forever. Just like my childhood did not last forever. Childhood does not last long. In fact, so many of us get grown and be like, dang, I wish I was a kid again. I didn't have bills. That's just proof that things do not last forever. None of these storms last forever. So just always know that whatever your situation is, you are eventually going to get through it. Just try your best to stay positive. I know sometimes it is difficult, but you are not alone, and God is right there with you. All you got to do is open your mouth and say, hey, God, I need you over here, and he will work it all out eventually. All right. So that's my advice for all of y'all.
And as you do with everyone, although you've been, putting in your one-woman play throughout the entirety of our show, we do want to give you the chance to let our viewers know about any other projects or anything else you would like to draw traffic to, anything that you're advocating for, just anything you want to bring shine to, or how our viewers can contact you, utilize your services, frequent your events, anything. You have the floor.
Sure, no problem. So as y'all know, the 9 Lives, One Woman Tour is taking place right now. We're on the last 3 stops on this tour. So make sure you get tickets if you are in Nashville, Tennessee, if you're in Boston, Massachusetts, or Bowling Green, Kentucky. Those are the last cities left on this tour stop. But most importantly, even if you can't make it to one of those cities, make sure you connect with us so that you know what our next show is and when and where it will be dropping, so you can get those tickets and hopefully come see us in person. But I do want to mention, I haven't mentioned this, I don't think, today, but the show is actually based on the book I Am a Poetic Ensemble. So I want you guys to get a copy of that as well. This book right here it's a book of poetry, but it's also a memoir and story of my life. Like they said, we just touched on 2 topics today. This right here is like a summary and overview of all of the things that are going to come. If you read this book, you're going to see what the next 50 years are going to look like for me, because every single one of the poems in this book is a whole movie in itself. It's a whole separate book in itself. This is the sampler platter of everything that is coming from Us 3 Productions and Vitelle. So I want you guys to get a copy of this, the original first book of my journey, my story, and this movement. I want you guys to join the movement. Definitely make sure you go to vitelle.net. That's VITELLE.net. There you can find links to all of my social media platforms. Follow me on whatever you got. And also, last but not least, if you want to really stay in the loop with what's going on, go ahead and shoot me a text at 770-626-5075. Once you subscribe to that list, you will get direct contact with me with all the things that's going on, you got casting calls, discounts. I give special promo codes to my tech subscribers. So subscribe via text and via email on the website, and make sure you stay connected with me. It's some big things coming.
Vitelle, we want to thank you so much. And when we finish, if you can please hold a second. So you have it. If you are going through, for any of our females out here that are going through bullying, biracial, as I mentioned, human trafficking, even navigating, really getting help, because Vitelle was very open about manipulation and everything. So I hope you paid a lot of attention, and she's on a healing journey, and hopefully her testimony will help you see that you need to start that healing journey. She has given you a lot of resources and things that can help you through this journey. So we want to thank you, Vitelle.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing. Y'all were very thorough with the questions. We dove deep. I done did hundreds of thousands of interviews. I don't know how many interviews, but I don't feel like I've ever answered half these questions that y'all asked me today. So mad props to you. Claps for you. Thank you guys so much.
And see, that's what we love right there.
Y'all are on it. Y'all challenged me today. Y'all challenged me.
That's good. And we're going to challenge you when you come back to part two.
Part two.
Yeah. So we want to thank you for tuning into Unfiltered Unspoken Podcast, where we're going to continue to share life experiences. Ain't that right, Sid?
That's right.
That's right. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace.
All right, y'all, it's hot up in here. I'm going to turn off one or two of these lights. All right, y'all, I'm sorry, behind the scenes, because there's too many lights on me right now. It's hot. And luckily, I'm sitting right beside the air thing, so I'm going to put that down. Ooh, Lord, I can take these earrings off. Ooh, that was the deep. I'm sorry I lost y'all on, thank you so much. I'm sorry I lost y'all on TikTok. I kind of figured that. I'm surprised they didn't kick me off sooner. But you know, when you don't do that puzzle thing in time, it goes off anyway. But that's why I said make sure you follow me on all the platforms so you know.
We're all finished. See, if you want to drop, you can drop, boo. I know you're not feeling, let me make sure you
feel better, love. I'm sorry, you pushed through it though. You did it. You did that.
It's right. It's just
the cloud is up, baby.
Demonstrating. That's it. But it's just bad today.
I don't know what it is. I think we might all be around each other's.
Hey, it is contagious, even virtually. So don't even speak it. We're gonna stop talking about it. Even virtually, it's contagious. Stop it.
But my house is like PHATTY right now. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Oh my God, you gotta love it. I'm telling you, being in a house full of girls.
Right, exactly. Well, I had to turn off some of these lights as soon as we went off because, matter of fact, I'm gonna have to take off this blazer and everything because y'all, it was hot over here. Y'all had me sweating.
Sid and I have people on the podcast, and they be like, I wasn't even thinking about that. I think I need to go back and work or something.
Right. How you think about your own life like that?
Ain't
nobody asked me that before.
It's like, wow, I wasn't ready for that.
Right. And my thing is, it's funny because like, I be so honest and transparent about stuff. And sometimes I am asked things that I immediately, my mind goes to the natural state of like, ooh, if so-and-so see this, they not gonna like this. But then I have to shake that so quickly because at the end of the day, this is my life. I only got one. When I go in the coffin, ain't nobody going in there with me. So, you know, when I got to answer to God, ain't nobody else answering for me. Like, me and God know what it is. We was the only ones there. So, you know, nobody can argue with me in my story. You know, like, I just try to be as honest about it as possible. But then I also have to be careful. Like, I don't tell too much of it because ain't nobody finna write my story and make these billions before I do. So I'm just saying this is multi-billion-dollar projects in my head. So I have to be careful. Yeah.
Are you thinking about taking people under you?
What you mean?
Your production company.
Oh, I have people that work with us. You mean like joining the company?
I work with you, like doing other projects. Like if I had a project, because I have a guy. Let me tell you, I'm not a bullshitter, so I'm like I don't.
Oh, by the way, I'm still live. Before you get into what you're saying, I'm still live. Okay. You want me to log off this first, or are you okay? You don't care?
No, we're good. We're having a conversation.
Okay. If you don't care that no, you know, I just want to make sure that full disclaimer. Okay.
Because you're doing some amazing things. things and I'm aligned with you. And a lot of people, you know, when we're in this business, you know that. It's like people come and they're not serious, but we want seriousness, and we're on the same road. And I have a lot of things, just not even my testimony, that I've been asked. I'm like, can you help me put it in a play? Can you help me put it in a play? And just to have guidance, even if I started somewhere and I came up under someone, and then they be like, you know what, then I got it, I'm rich, but we're all connecting and helping each other. So,
no, I get what you're saying.
I didn't know if your production company, like, took on other stuff, you know, besides non-lives work and stuff like that.
So right now we don't, only because I got about more than 50 movies lined up already. So just off my own, like breaking down this book, like you would be surprised. But I have been asked that a few times, and sometimes people's stuff falls so in line with what I'm doing, I can figure out a way to incorporate it. For example, I have a show, The Face of Homeless. It's not entirely just my story. I'm telling my story through it, but I also have, it's like a soap opera. Like there's different characters and they're all going through their stories intertwined with this play. So some of it is other people's stories. So I would probably do it like that for now. But who knows what the future holds. I'm not opposed to anything, honestly.
Yeah, I just asked because, you know, I've had that piece, just a little piece of it, but you know, just that guidance, because I'm like, I love what you're doing. I really love what you're doing, and I've been trying to get into this for years of just starting to play a piece of it. And you know, I was really inspired. So I tell anyone, like, even if you're on this gift, like you have so many accolades of you. When I went back and I really looked at
Thank you for doing that, by the way. Most people do not.
Oh no, I did. I was like, oh my God, you've been all these talent.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
I do not name drop, and I do not say my resume. I don't even remember my resume. I keep on moving to the next thing. So
it's my job.
You gotta figure it out. Exactly, and I love that because you would be surprised.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know who you interviewing.
You are right. Yes, of course. You know, I came out, and for the audience that's listening, I met Vitelle through someone, meeting her through a poetry event, and they recommended me. But this is how networking and how when you are good to people, that God uses this universe to just pass you along. A lot of people think about money. And it's not about money. It's the richness is in your heart. So
the money will come. That's what we say all the time. The money will come.
The money will come, and you know, I have a nonprofit, so you know, I put a lot into it, but I see the gradual change in people coming along because we do a lot of beautiful things in the community. But I admire everything that you're doing and how you broke things down and your accolades. And I'm gonna tell y'all, if y'all haven't looked up Vitelle, please go Google her and see.
Y'all better look me up, y'all, on my social media.
Yeah, they have to go look at your accolades. This is more than a person that you see in the play. This is more than just the person that you see video recording and doing
behind the scenes, all this crazy mess that be happening.
I'm like, I asked myself, I'm like, she went through all this and all these traumas. I wanted to know, like, we ran out of time, but I mean, since here, I'll say it now. I'm like, did she suppress some of the things that she went through and acted out just to downplay, like, everything that she was going through? Like,
I wouldn't say I was downplaying it, but I was trying to sum it up because it's like really hard to, you know, to try to get into all, you know. That's why I said when I get into the next books and the movies and stuff, I'm able to focus on that one part now and then go into detail about all of the aspects of that part. And I may even need help from people like you that know how to ask good questions, because it might be something that I didn't think about. Like, you know what? Let me add that part in there because I do remember that, you know, because it was so much that it's really hard to keep up with. So,
Yeah, because the more now I'm listening to you, I'm like, dang, like it's really like amazed, going through a maze, like you're like part of it gets stuck in this corner.
You see why I had to break it down into 9 lives? Because I'm like, hey, it's gonna take 9 people to tell this story. It's a lot. That's exactly
gonna be
why.
a part 2.
And there is a part 2 of 9 Lives. Yes.
Part 4.
You know what's funny? I'm just trying to decide whether to take. So I've pretty much already written 9 Lives, but I'm trying to decide if I want to break it down because I write it first before I break it down between the characters to tell, like give them each a script to tell that part of it. So I'm trying to decide if I want to make it 9 more characters and keep the 9 Lives theme, or if I want to make 10, 11, 12 because that's a lot. It's a lot of them. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
but it definitely will be a part 2.
If I can give you like a person looking out and like looking in, I would do something with 2 of the characters because that's enough. Like a character, like when you see like kind of not like a soap opera, but not like the soap opera or show where it's going back and forth in the household, kind of like you have,
right.
But literally the 2 characters part of your 9 lives, like.
Right.
Maybe friends acting out 2 different lives or 3 different people, like 3 different scenes of friends kind of coming together, like living these different lives. They're all going through something and they just don't realize that they're going through
Listen, we might have to have you in one of the brainstorming meetings. We might have to get you on the board of directors so you can have an input in all this because, listen,
let me tell you,
it takes a lot of great minds to make this happen.
I'm going to tell you something. This is the God's honest truth. And my friends, they'll tell you too. My brain is constantly going, even for my friends, on ways and ideas to be creative. I actually have
never stops.
IQ, and you do too. You're really smart. So I'm not, but I am always thinking of something, and I can't sleep sometimes because my brain is going like this. But 9 Lives is just, and I want to tell you this, and maybe this is God. It's more powerful than what you think it is. Like you're just showing a surface of it, but this is it's very, very powerful, and there's just so much. So just continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you so much for that.
Because it's a power that you can't believe in, and it is the truth. There are people that are chosen through God. Because I'm a chosen one.
Thank you, guys.
And I have a special gift.
Amen.
So you definitely have one too. So you just have to know even the more, it's already there. It's full, it's blooming, but you have a tree that is going to grow so high and sprout so many branches. So, just keep doing what you're doing, impacting lives and just giving people hope and faith. I really enjoyed 9 Lives. So if anyone's listening to me and you haven't, you definitely have to. If you are in a city and state, please go out and support. It was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah.
Wow, that means so much to me. And I got to tell you how much confirmation that was, because when I first really started moving forward and just the confidence in knowing who I am in God, I started doing like a, what did they call it? Like prophetic drawing, because I draw as well. And so I just, instead of just writing poems, I started drawing as therapy and just kind of drawing what God was giving me. And one of the first things that I did when I first started doing that was a tree, and it had all these branches, and it was like me, like coming into a tree, like a yoga pose almost. And I was the tree and the branch and all these branches. And it was just like, just as you were saying that, I just pictured that visual of that. I'm gonna have to text it to you. Make sure I got I got your information from NISA. So yeah, I don't want everybody to have it, but
the waves on your hair are the branches that sprout. Look at your hair. Look how long and beautiful it is.
Wow.
And making a symbol where you're in the middle and the waves of your hair are the branches.
That creative mind. I'm trying to tell you that.
I'm trying to tell you something.
That means so much to me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
So I want to ask really quick while I have you, are you free?
Yeah, because I do got to jump off soon. I didn't realize how long.
Audience, you're listening to us do some bookings right now real quick.
Okay. What we got?
Already almost booked through June.
Okay.
And I usually book out in the year, but this year I said I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
So I am already, I have one more slot in June, and that is the 25th, June 25th at 7, same time.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. If it was not for NYSA, I could not keep up with myself. So
Okay.
I don't want to tell you a date and then not, and I double book and stuff. So I'm gonna let NYSA handle that part. But like for me, it sounds available, but I don't make this mistake before. I'm gonna stay in my lane.
NYSA, I apologize.
But she's probably watching now too.
Look, I am going to email. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to text NYSA.
Right. She probably looking like, you better not say that. You better not book that.
Give her nice. Give me too. I'm executive assistant, so I have to respect it, because I'm gonna tell you, NYSA is on her.
She
got 20 toes.
I'm saying, I hate to even keep bragging about how amazing she is, because somebody gonna try to take her from me. I have to pay her more and more and more to keep people from trying to take her out from under me. So I'm keeping NYSA forever. Okay.
25 minutes before the meeting.
What she did? What?
She had the video started almost 25 minutes before.
Right. Exactly. No, that's how she is. Even with our meetings and stuff, she be on the thing before me. I'm like, give me a second to get on there. She is on it every time.
I say you're a wonderful executive assistant, because I'm gonna tell you the reason why I'm not looking for one is because I know how I am,
Very particular.
and if they're not, don't worry, I'm not gonna try to take NYSA.
No, listen, I went through a lot of them. Trust me. Like, you just gotta try. My thing was getting comfortable delegating, because I was so used to doing everything myself. So you have to get comfortable delegating first. Look, I'm over here giving you advice here because this was my problem too. I get that, so I'm resonating with that. But getting comfortable delegating and getting comfortable allowing people to screw it up, because they might screw it up. They might not do it exactly how you do it. But I had to also get comfortable with letting people go. Like, that was the hardest part for me. Like, it's not that I'm firing you. It's just that you're not qualified for this particular position. So I'm gonna either move you into a new position, or if they get mad at me, then they just leave altogether. But I had to be okay with whatever happens, because eventually God gonna send the one that is overqualified, that qualifies here. And it's nicer. Like, it's definitely nicer. So I'm not saying anything bad about my previous assistants. They all were great in their own ways. But NYSA is a freaking AI. Like, I don't know. Like, and that's how I feel like I am. And I'm like, how can she keep up with me? This is not possible. She does every time. And NYSA still manages her own business and stuff.
So I have met NYSA, and she is on point.
She is. She does.
So I'm going to email her and ask her about June at 7 p.m.
Okay.
I'll bring you back.
I can't remember the last day. I want to say the last day is July something, but I don't even want to mess it up.
No, we're not asking you. We're not going to talk about it.
Okay. Because my brain's getting confused. Ask me a math question or something easy. Like, I don't want to think about my calendar.
That's me, math. I used to love, and you said you draw. I used to draw, but I stopped drawing. My daughters draw, and I pushed them, but I lost my passion for it.
Yeah. And I haven't necessarily lost the passion for it. I just don't be having time. So if I go camping or something, that's when I take the time to do things that I enjoy doing, but I'll never have time to do, like, read and draw and stuff like that. I have to get away from the world in order to be able to have time to do that. So yeah.
We're like out here, but we're really some geeky nerds. Right. People just don't understand. We're like,
right, exactly. It's so funny. I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah, I could talk to you forever, but I'm like, dang, we've been on that long. I had to look at the time again. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much I've still got to do today. So let me get my butt off here.
And I'm like, we only got 2 pieces of it. She has so much.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we've been bringing people back for part 2s too. So
awesome.
The part 2s are definitely. I love it, because you just get to hear like more of it. It's not enough time.
Yeah, and then we can get more into the homelessness too, because I'm actually bringing my show Face of Homeless back next after this world tour is over, so we can get more into that. And and I have a whole
the next one I'll put the founder of your nonprofit instead of the production company. Do you want me to do that?
I don't know if I want to do that or not, honestly. Well, only because so I actually had to let it dissolve legally. Not that I don't still do it, but I just had to let it dissolve legally because there's some complications there. But once the book drops about this and stuff, then I'll be able to say more. But it's a lot of legal stuff, and the government don't want us to be great, so they're gonna keep trying to stop me. But it's okay, I'm still here. But eventually, I will need security, so I'm gonna need more security. I do have one security that's there for specific events, but for the most part, I'm gonna need somebody standing at the door all the time because they're gonna hate me. The more I get out here and say what I'm saying. Girl.
Look, you know, I understand my board already is like, you need security.
Yeah, because unfiltered, unspoken, like this is the stuff that people are not speaking about, and we're speaking about it unfilteredly. So
we've actually had people share their life experience with family. Some family is happy, but some family is upset.
Hey, not happy.
So, you know, we get it because people don't want you to tell your side.
Yeah.
They want to hold you in silence.
Yeah. But my thing is, I don't say no names, so a hit dog will holler, as they say. So as long as you don't say nothing, I ain't gonna say nothing about you. So, you know, if you put yourself in them shoes, I ain't even say that was you. How you know that was you?
And that's the guilt.
Right.
I
said nobody's names.
And you know, I asked somebody, I'd be like, do you want me to delete that post? And I just had one happen 2 weeks ago. I was like, do you want me to delete their post? They was like, nope, leave it up there. I'm like, I like these Helen posts.
That's what I'm talking about. Look, tag them all. Tag them. That is too funny. I love it. Well, I so much appreciate you. Thank you so much again. You're amazing. I can't wait to talk to you again.
Yes, you're amazing too. And now I need to get out of ATL because I've never been there. So
really, where were you when you saw Orlando?
In DC.
Oh, it was in DC. Okay, look, all these shows running together like the story of my life. Okay, it was in DC. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, so I gotta come to ATL. I'll be like, by the time I'm coming out there, you on break, no work.
Look, and I was just saying we might not take the next show up to DC, but now I'm gonna have to just for you. Look, you gotta help us spread the word. I'm gonna have to bring it back to DC again. I love it.
Look, and if not, let me tell you, we can promote everywhere. Look, I'll get my boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. That's what I'm talking about. Look, more confirmation. Because I say that all the time. I need more boots on the ground. Listen, ain't nice if you watching, she about to mess around and be on the board of directors. So we need to go ahead and just get her NDA signed. Let's get her on in here. Like, if you don't have too much going on, I'm really considering that. And my brain is braining right now. I'm like, okay, she in the vein.
Look, if you feel as though I earn it, then I'm there. If you don't feel as though I don't earn it, I'm there. But you know, we can always chat more because I just like to give out ideas. Right. I just love giving out ideas. If anything, I just love giving out ideas.
I love the creativity. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we will chat. We will chat. Let's know if you have free time. Text me. I'll text you back. We can chat about some things. That's cool. So
sounds good. Thank you so much.
God is good.
Yes,
God bless
all the
you.
time. Yes, you too. Yes. Thank you, boo. You have a good night.
You too. Bye. Bye, live.
Bye. I'm gonna tell him bye too. All right. Bye. See you later.
Bye.
Okay. Wow. That's overwhelming. Like, I wasn't expecting that interview to be that long, y'all, but y'all know I gotta talk to y'all for just a minute, but I promise I ain't gonna stay on long because I really went way over time, but I gotta address y'all and thank you for being on here. Hopefully y'all saw that. Way. Where am I at with this camera? Okay, I think I'm here. Okay, so yeah, there we are. All right, so wow, I don't really know what to say exactly. I can just say that was amazing, also unexpected. Very good interviewers, did their research. I say this all the time when someone does their research. Let this be a lesson to the rest of y'all to do your research. NF said it best. If y'all know nothing about NF Real Music, I need y'all to look him up. He is the musical version of me. Okay, we're going to collaborate very soon. But NF said it best. You don't have to know the album names to all my music, but at least try to find out who you in the room with. Those is two people that you will hear me quote all the time is NF and Cardi B. Okay, like I'm just saying, the quotes is real. It resonates. All right. So, but yes, she definitely did her research. She definitely found out who she was in the room with. I love it. I love when people can tell me stuff about me that I ain't even remember or know about myself. So that was a great interview. So hopefully you guys watched and tuned in behind the scenes. I will post this replay on Facebook and Instagram against my better judgment because it's a very, very detailed and uncomfortable interview. I don't know if it was the lights, the heat, or the questions that made me sweat a lot. I was sweating. If y'all saw me sweating, too many interviewers that could make me sweat. But at the end of the day, I still got through it. I still answered them questions. Honestly, I did not sugarcoat it for nobody. I tried to be, I didn't walk on eggshells, but I still have to try to be careful. Like I said, a lot of these projects that are coming are not out yet. So until they are all out and copywritten and all that different stuff, I try not to say too much, but still tell y'all the story. At the end of the day, a lot of the story is still only in here, so can't nobody really copy that. So that's about all the most sugarcoating I do nowadays. I don't sugarcoat things to protect other people's feelings and things like that anymore. Like, I just don't do that. So I'm gonna call it like it is, say it like it is, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, I love all God's people, and that's who I am. So ain't nobody gonna convince me otherwise, that I have whatever intentions they think I have. They want to say that, go on over there and say that with the rest of the people that hate me, because no matter what you do in life, you're always going to have people that hate you and what you're doing. So continue to do what you're doing, what you know God's called you to do, and just do it unapologetically. Ugh, tongue twister. Love you too, Rich. Thank you so much for being on here. Thank you for the roses. So yeah, my TikTok, it got cut off earlier. I think I probably had 100,000 likes up on there. Y'all was loving it, liking, and I appreciate that, TikTok, but it got cut off because anytime you talk about unaliving yourself, like they try to, that's how, see, they be sugarcoating stuff. See how they do? Unaliving myself. Like, come on now, let's call it what it is. Like, it's happening out here all the time, every day that we're alive, someone is unaliving themselves. And that's what we're working to prevent with this show. So if you didn't know, now you know. 9 Lives World Tour. 2 more stops left on this tour, guys. Get your tickets. Nashville is this Saturday. There are not many tickets left, so get your tickets and come out to the Nashville show. Even if you're in Atlanta, you can drive. It's not that far. Drive on up to Nashville, come and see this show. And of course, make sure that you get my book. I don't plug the book as much because I sometimes assume that everybody who's going to get it has it, and everybody's got it by now. But at the same time, I got to make sure that anyone new joining me knows about this book, I Am a Poetic Ensemble, because at the end of the day, this is the introduction to everything that is about to be. Y'all are going to see. This is foreshadowing. You talk about foreshadowing in movies. This is foreshadowing in a book that has also turned into a show. And all of my books will also be a show. Y'all gonna see a pattern as it develops, trust me. So just keep an eye out. Make sure y'all subscribe and connect. I'm gonna get on off here so I can get to running, but y'all know I just had to come on and thank you guys once again for tuning in live behind the scenes for this amazing interview with Unfiltered Unspoken over the next few days. Well, probably after the show, because we have a lot of footage to post from all the promoting that we're doing out here in Tennessee. But over this weekend, before the show drops on Monday, y'all will see me posting the snippets that she sends me and anything to prepare for the release of this interview. So if you missed it, don't worry, you can go back on and whenever the real interview comes out, so you can really see the commercial that plays and how they had it set up. It was really beautiful the way she did it, the graphics and all of that stuff. So even if you did see this whole live behind the scenes, you should still go watch her version of it, because this is not the best shot. Y'all seeing the air conditioning, everything in the background on Facebook and all that. So yeah, so this is not the best. This is behind the scenes, honestly. So without my cameraman here to be shooting behind the scenes, because they are on the way. They got to finish some things up in Atlanta, and then the rest of my team will be joining me here in Nashville, Tennessee. But in the meantime, I'm here. If any of y'all are in Nashville, Tennessee, even if you can't make it out Saturday, you already got plans, like hit me up while I'm here, so you can tell me where to go and all the places. Like, this is how we do it. We come into the city, we word of mouth it, we go to events, those people at those events connect with me, and then they come with me to other events, or they take me to other places. And like, I go into places by myself. By the time it's over with, I got a whole entourage in whatever city I go to. So that's just a blessing, just to have that gift in the first place, and just to be able to stop through and be an inspiration and an encouragement to everybody. If you were watching that interview, we were talking about how it was like that for me when I went into a mental institution. Like, I was literally locked up and that's when I've been there twice in my life, not that specific one, but even as an adult, I went back to one of those places voluntarily, thinking something was wrong with me then. And lo and behold, I found out some other things. But anyway, we'll get into that on part 2 when I get on her, when I get on hers, because I know she's going to ask me some deep questions. But at the end of the day, that's where I really learned, like, this is who I am. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I do. Like, there's not a lot of people that have that. And the crazy thing is, how I know it's God is because I am a freaking introvert. Y'all don't understand how much I just be wanting to sit in silence and not talk to nobody. I don't want to hear no human voices. Y'all know that show Alone on Netflix? Sometimes I watch that as therapy because I would love to be dropped off on a deserted island and left out there to survive by myself. That's me in general. Like, and that's weird to say that because y'all see me out here in the spotlight doing all these things, doing all this stuff, but y'all don't see before I even go live that I'm sitting over here trying to convince myself to go live because I really don't feel like talking. I don't want to talk to these people. I don't want to be the center of attention. And that comes from years of growing up and people saying, oh, you think you're all that, you want to be the center of attention, you just need all this attention, blah, blah, blah. Like whatever they think your intentions are for what you're doing. I had to grow to love myself and to understand I know what my intentions are. And I'm gonna build my confidence the way I'm gonna build my confidence. And I'm gonna do this when I'm supposed to do it because at the end of the day, I know it's nothing but God. I don't be knowing what I'm gonna say when I go in these interviews. I just show up and then God just give me the words. And it's crazy because God gives them the questions too. Even the questions that people ask every single time I do an interview, it'll be something that God was asking me earlier or was confirming with me earlier. And I'm just like, oh God, he wants me to talk about that. Oh my God. Like, and I literally just have to start talking about it no matter how uncomfortable it is. Like at the end of the day, I'm not going to be here forever. One of these days, I'm going to be gone. One of these days, I'm going to be a memory. I'm going to be a Facebook post and y'all saying how much y'all miss me. And I appreciate that in advance. But I'm just saying, like, you know, I make jokes about everything, but I'm like, it might sound a little morbid, but I'm trying to keep it real with y'all. Like, we're all going to be there one of these days. So I'm going to live every single bit of my life, every day that I wake up. That's why I don't take no time off. That's why it'd be hard for me to sleep and to stop to eat and do normal human stuff because I'm like, dang, I only got so much time in this body. Like in the spirit in me, we are all spirit. So the spirit in me is like, I got to do all these things that God's called me to do. I see all these bigger things for the future and what he's using my spirit to do. And I got this body and this flesh to do it in. And it's so temporary. Like, oh, like I understand that my spirit understands that. So, you know, they say my spirit is willing, but my flesh is weak. Jesus himself said that. So who am I to be stronger than Jesus Christ? Like for real. Like, so I say that daily, like, oh Lord, my spirit is willing, but my flesh is weak. My flesh ain't got nothing but 10 minutes of sleep in the last 24 hours. I need a break. But my spirit is just ready all the time on 10. My spirit is an AI or something, like she be on it just like this all the time. So that's where even the confidence in what I'm saying right this very second. If you lived with me, as soon as I cut this off, it's gonna be dead silence in this house for a minute. I'm gonna be basking in it and just enjoying my team not being here, even though I'm enjoying when they're here too, because I'm gonna be whooping them in pool. But you know, so I enjoy that part too. But just enjoying the silence and just like, dang, and just reflecting on what I said. And sometimes I'll listen to the interviews like, I said that? That's how I know it ain't nothing but God. Because I remember saying that. Like, I don't even remember saying, but it's for somebody. It's always for somebody else. Our lives are not our own. I know y'all know that song. That is my jam. I have to play that before the show to remind me my life is not my own. To God I belong. Like, I already know this. So this life that he gave me, I'm going to use it to help other people to find him. That's what it's all about at the end of the day, no matter what the message is, the topic is that we're focused on or talking about, or the testimony that I'm sharing. At the end of the day, it's all about showing people who's really doing this. It's all about showing people who's really in charge. It's all about helping people to get to him who think they don't have access, who think he ain't paying no attention to him, or he done left them behind, or they're in this situation and it's God's fault, or blaming him, or angry, and like all these situations we have in this world when it comes to people's relationship with the Most High, and all these religions that just separate all of us and got everybody all confused and carrying on. God is not the author of confusion. Like he ain't with all that religious stuff. Like Jesus was not no Christian. You know, so it's like at the end of the day, regardless of your religion, we all are spirits, and we have this opportunity to have this personal relationship with God and understand what it is that he wants us to do with our life. Our whole purpose is supposed to be to worship him. So whatever that looks like for us, It might be singing, it might be acting, it might be writing a book, it might be doing a play, it might be all of these things. It might be administrative work. It might be like, whatever it is, you got to find out what it is for you. You got to go to God with that and figure that out, honey. I can't help you with that part, but I can tell you that once you start just to develop that relationship with him and spend that time with him, he gonna show you. He gonna show you. Just walk by faith and not by sight. That's all I got for y'all today. That's all I got, because I'm gonna keep getting off on a tangent and keep losing track of time because I got things to do and I got places to go, and time is running short, and there is an urgency because the show is this Saturday and it must be successful. Okay, so thank you guys again for joining, and don't forget, look out for that podcast that will be dropping on Monday. I will see y'all again soon. Okay, everybody. Good night. Goodbye and good nights.